Hi everyone, and welcome to the Box Institute's tutorial on how to create a pivot table in Excel. In this video, we will be walking you through the process of creating a pivot table from a data set and showing you how to customize and analyze your data using this powerful tool. First, let's take a look at this data set that we'll be using for our pivot table. In this example, we have a data set that contains information on sales by region, product, and date. This is a company that sells sporting goods, as you can see from the products that they sell. To create a pivot table, we must first need to highlight the data set and then go to the Insert tab and select Pivot Table. So we select our data, we go to Insert, and then we click on Pivot Table. We then show that the table and range of the data is A2 through F23, and you can see that it's showing you by the dotted line here, showing you what we've selected. We then click OK. Now, we're showing a bunch of pivot table fields. Now, these are all of the columns that was in our data set. We have region, product, quantity, price per item, total sales, and date. In the rows, we can add fields that we want to use to group our data. For example, if we add region to our rows field, it will show us each of the regions in our data set. Once we have our region as our row, we can then group this data any way we want according to those regions. So let's take a look at each of the products that were sold in those regions. So how we do that is we add product to our columns area. And that shows us each of the sporting goods that are in our data set. We then want to know how many of each of these items were sold by region. And to do that, we take our quantity and we add it to our values. And when we do that, it adds all of the quantities for each of our products from our data set. And you can see here that in the East, we sold 25 baseball bats, no footballs, 15 frisbees, no golf balls, 110 hockey helmets, 0 skateboards, and 79 soccer balls for a grand total of 229 total products. We then can now click on each of these to get more detailed information on what those were. So let's take a look at the hockey helmets. If we double click on this, it will then show us, we had 2 sales for a total of 110 items, priced at $45 each, and here's the total sales amount. Let's work on a couple other pivot tables for this data. Let's look at how many did we sell of each product. So again, if we click in here, we say Insert Pivot Table, it selects our data set. We then click OK. We then want to see how many of each product we sold. So we drag our product down to the rows, and we drag our quantity over to the values. And what that does is it tells us exactly each product and how many of each product we have. It adds them together. We'll double click on the football one, 132, and you'll see 3 transactions. What was the cost per item, what was the quantity per item, and what were the total sales for each of those transactions. Now, let's look at how many sales we had by region. So in here, we click Insert, Pivot Table, again, selects all of our data. We then click OK. We then go to Region, drag that down into the rows, and then we go to Total Sales, and we drag that over to our values. And here we have our sum of all of our sales for each of our regions. And we can turn this into a dollar value. And now we can see all of the different amounts for each of these regions. If we want to sort this by the highest sales, we click here in our first value, we do a right click, and we go to Sort, and we sort largest to smallest. And now we can see that the East had the most sales, Southwest, then Northwest, then West, Northeast, and then Southeast. If we want to turn this into a visual chart, we click in here in our data, highlight our data, go to Insert, we hit our down arrow, and we go to 2D column, and we click on Clustered Column. And here we can see each of our sales for each of our regions on our chart and by how much they sold. If we right click on this, we can do an Add Data Labels, and that will show us the amount for each one. Remember to like and subscribe, and that's it for our tutorial on how to create a pivot table in Excel. We hope this video has helped you understand how to use this powerful tool to analyze and organize your data. As always, if you have any further questions or need help, please contact us.